Hey, so I just broke Roller Champions. Now don't freak out, this isn't a weird bug or some collision issue. This is actually something that you use every day and you just hadn't noticed until now. It's called Coyote time and developers use it on basically any game that has any jumping. This mechanic basically lets you input a ground move right as your feet leave the ground, so that way, instead of just falling down, your character does your move, making the game feel a lot better. This is used a lot in Roller Champions, not only when you jump off the ramps, but also when you move around the lips of the arena, since the different altitudes make it really common for you to get airborne without even noticing. But enough explaining, what can and can't you do with this? Well, it depends on the move and their aerial versions. Okay, so brake boosting is the least interesting one. You basically can't do anything with it. The only thing that happens is that the moment you touch the ground, you can buffer it. I've seen some weird stuff where it looks like you're actually brake boosting me there, especially going down the lips, but it probably is just a matter of perspective and the skate positions when turning in the air. It's a shame that you can't brake boost me there, because it's the best way to turn around and that'd be huge for this tech. Also, a breakthrough is not very likely, because the reason I think this technique doesn't work at all is because the brake boost doesn't have an air version, and even if it did, that doesn't guarantee that the tech would work properly. Rollball is very similar because you cannot use it off the ramps. It does play the animation, so I guess you can still fake shot in Roller Champions. The thing is, when you're on the lips going up or down, it's really likely that you'll actually get the throw, so I guess more testing is needed there. Jump and uppercut are just the most straightforward. You just perform the action in the air. Note that for the jump, you can still double jump after it, and for the uppercut, you don't lose your ability to spin kick. We'll talk about what you can do with these moves later, especially the uppercut. Hope you're following along. Dodge and especially tackle are where this goes from an A feature to some actual tech, so the explanation is gonna get a bit tough, please bear with me. So there are two main quirks with these moves. The first one is that if you perform them right before or during Coyote time, the animation will start playing, but then you'll do the air version of the moves. This is bad news for Dodge, since the move has so little startup and active frames, it makes Coyote time super tricky to work, and even when you do, you can only jump out of it. Downsides don't end there, because if you mess up, you'll actually go into the dive dodge state, even if the animation doesn't play. Things are not looking as green for the tackle though, as it lets you dive with one less input, saving some precious frames. You can also spin kick twice in the air, since you can cancel your first spin kick with an uppercut, which also gives you another spin kick. The reason you can cancel the spin kick so late into the uppercut is the second quirk, which is actually why this video exists in the first place. For whatever reason, when you tackle, your character is still considering Coyote time. This extends the window for inputs by a huge margin, giving you a lot of options. But the main one is uppercut. The uppercut you perform feels like the ground uppercut instead of the weaker wall version. Not only does this feel amazing to use, but you also get new angles and ways to approach the walls. Still not convinced? Well, here's a more practical use. This is probably the best way to go from the turn into the inner wall. I'm not great at it yet, but if you tackle off the ramp, you can uppercut and spin kick into the wall again, and you will stick. That's not it either. You can also use this to make the wall transfers from the inner wall a lot easier, getting some nasty 90-degree turns. And that's most of it. Honestly, I feel like this mechanic isn't too powerful by itself, but it gives more tools to defenders and makes going up the walls a little less of a commitment. On top of that, understanding how this mechanic works in general is great for knowing why things happen and how to move properly around the arena. This mechanic is probably going to stay. Not only has it probably been here since the beginning or beta at the latest, but Roller Champions would feel absolutely horrible without it. The skate park would be unplayable. I feel like I've covered a lot of stuff, but honestly, you never know with this game. I'm still trying to figure out things like what would happen if you actually fell off the wall? Would you actually get Coyote time? And what about the net? If we could find a way to get off the wall reliably and you actually get Coyote time out of it, then it'd be crazy. So yeah, everyone, let's see what we can do with these mechanics. Please feel free to share everything you find on Twitter or discuss it with me on DMs or even my Twitch. And don't be afraid to ask any questions. I'm probably not the first one to notice this, but I'm definitely the first one to document it and maybe even test on it. Thank God there's no more surfaces around the arena you can fall out of, like in the skate park. Right?